guys, welcome to our Sunday vlog. So I'm actually recording this shortly after, well, in the evening after our Saturday episode of episode 12, and I wanted to kind of take you along on how I do my evening ritual and show you my spell cabinet that's similar to Lenny's, but it doesn't have the same kinds of things she has. But this is part of what inspired the Witch's Key spell cabinet. So if you're interested, just keep watching. So I mentioned this before, but this little spell cabinet or meditation space that I have behind me is something that my husband gave to me for our 10-year anniversary. So in December, just recently, 2019, he was thinking, what in the world do I get you? You have all these planners, all this stuff that you already love. What would you really like? And so I did a little bit of soul searching, and I thought, what would really be something that would feed my soul, would be a place that I could just come and relax and enjoy. And I came up with this, and we sort of brainstormed a little bit because I used to have sort of an altar space that was more like a coffee table that I could meditate at and sit down. But we started to think, oh my gosh, we're about to have a little crawling and then a walking little baby that's going to be putting stuff in her mouth, and I don't want her to have access to like my crystals and things like that. So what we started thinking about when we went looking, we went shopping, back when we all could leave our houses and go shopping, we went shopping around Christmas time, and we said, what would be a good solution to that? And what we came up with was this type of cabinet. So this is just a little cabinet that opens up, and I'll show you what's in it in a minute. I don't have a ton of space, but all it takes is just this little cabinet that's just really nice and slim, and it's plenty of space. Now there is a corner over here, as you can see, that has a like a picture frame that has square photos. I haven't actually filled that in yet, but I'm hoping that I can incorporate in this space with pictures of the family and things I want to meditate on, kind of like a little picture vision board. But I haven't had a chance to really, you know, get that exactly the way I want it. So for now, it's just sitting over there. There's also a little picture frame down there, but I have some pillows if I want to sit over here and read. And it's just a little corner in our master bedroom, and it's perfect. It's not a very huge room or anything, but it's just enough space. So even like if you want to do something like this for yourself, all you really need is just a little corner somewhere that you can put a little cabinet or a little piece of furniture like this. So I'm going to flip this camera around, and I'm going to introduce you to my meditation space slash evening rituals. This is what I do pretty much every night to settle myself down, to really get myself grounded, and to have kind of my spiritual practice, as you would say. So I hope you enjoy this video. So as you walk into our bedroom, I do have a little space over here. Well, we have a little station for the baby's bottles. Then we also have, so I have some of my moon water that I made the other night, and I use it in our essential oil diffuser. And I have also a little African violet, and all my essential oils are in here. Then, like I showed you, I've got this little photo frame that I want to put some stuff in, but for now I don't. And I have some little pillows for a little reading nook. And then what I have in my space is this meditation pillow from Gaiam, and I can link this down below. So this is a buckwheat pillow, and sometimes I use the bigger pillow only, and sometimes I use the little sitting pillow as well. Then got some of Evie's things over here. So I've just carved out this little space for myself. And this is a look at the cabinet itself. This is just something that we got at Home Goods. It's nothing fancy. I think it was maybe $89 or $79. It's really pretty. I would love someday to have something maybe hand carved or more ornate, but this is actually working out really well for me. I also have a little Buddha statue here. These little lights down at the bottom, I'll show you how I use these, but these are lights that I got around Christmas time, and I just loved them so much, the little ball lights. So those kind of sit in front of my cabinet. Then off to the side here, I have a basket that has some of my tarot cards that I'm not using, and all my stickers and other little supplies that I use, and I'll show you how I use that. And then one of my absolute favorite things about this space is this piece right here. So I saw something like this on Pinterest and I just had to recreate it for myself. So this is just an antique jewelry box. And of course, I'm not going to close it. You can see me there in the mirror too. I'm just using my phone to record. But it has a little stand-up mirror and it's got the kind of velvety interior, and of course this all closes, so then it would just be a little box. So all of it closes up like a jewelry box, but I leave it open like this so that I can keep all my stuff inside. So you guys may have seen this behind the scenes because I've been keeping this candle and candle holder behind me as I read The Witch's Key. So I just brought it up back to its little home. I also have 3 little Hello Kitties that have been carved from a couple of different crystals. So this is labradorite or labradorite. I always am not sure exactly how to say that. And then the other 2 are fluorite, just in different colors. Then I also have, you're gonna think this is a little bit cheesy, but I have this little mint tin that has a Ouija board on it. And Ouija boards just have a special place in my heart because it's something that I used to use a lot as a child, and not anything serious, but it was sort of more like a game. And I know they're very serious and some people have definite opinions about them, but just because I love horror movies and it's something that I used to play as a child, I loved this little mint tin, and I actually threw out the mints. They were little planchettes, but I just wasn't eating sugar at the time, so I threw out the mints. But I've got a little bit of a spell inside here that I cast earlier this year that is sort of a manifestation thing, but it's a little bit private. And then I have this little green aventurine stone, just a tumbled stone on top of it to kind of bring it a little bit of extra manifesting energy. I also have this little 1 candle holder that just holds some of these little spell or chime candles. And I have a bunch of these in different colors. If you look it up online, you can find a lot of stuff like on Pinterest and other places like that about the meaning of different chime candles in your spell work and things like that. So right now I just have this purple one on because I love purple. It's not any part of a spell or anything. Another thing that I recently got, and this is part of what has inspired some of Lenny's spell work, she uses a mini cauldron. So I thought I'm going to use this in my book. It is actually a cast iron cauldron. It has a little pentacle on the front. I got this from an Etsy shop as well called Lunam Love, and I buy a lot of things from her. So you'll see a lot of the things today that I'm going to mention are from her shop. And anytime I want to burn something in the house or out back, I use this little cauldron because it's a place that I feel like is not really going to catch fire. So you can see I've got some things over not this past full moon, but the full moon before that I was trying to release. So I wrote it all down in a piece of paper and I burned it, which is just something that I help to do to try to release different traumas and things that I've been through. So that's what's all here in the front. But then we have the actual jewelry box itself. So I'm going to just go through all the things that you see here. So this little bundle of candles is actually a set of spell candles from Lunam Love. And these are open roads and manifestation candles. So an open roads candle is something that you can use that is with the intention and is laced with herbs and oils, dressed with oils and herbs that are specifically for opening up new opportunities or roads between you and someone else or you and a new opportunity. So I have used her spells before, her candles before, and really was able to manifest some amazing things in my life that I thought were impossible. So I reached out to her and I asked her if she could make me some special candles to help me manifest something very special. So these 3 candles she made a special custom order for me, and I'm going to light the first one at this upcoming new moon in just about a week and a half or 2 weeks. Then I'm not going to go through what all the crystals are, but I use these little jewelry box pieces for all of my different crystals. So a lot of these are just, I'm going to blow this candle out so I don't end up burning myself. So a lot of these are just raw stones, rough stones, and I just have them in a lot of different kind of stones. Like here's a carnelian that is rough, a rough stone. Then I also have some, like a bunch of these green aventurine stones that are tumbled stones, so they're smooth. And then like I have, this is another rough stone that's a citrine. Another thing I have here from Lunam Love is a money drawing oil. So this is an oil that's been specifically put, you know, herbs and all of that stuff put together to help draw money into your life. This is also in this little bottle here is another spell. So this is dressed with a special kind of oil and another spell. And I'm not going to tell you what all I've done because some of it seems private, but this has a special meaning and it sits up here for me as well. Inside this first little section here, I just have a few bags from other crystals that I've received as gifts. Then I have these beads here that's like a mala beads. And this is also something that I put together for myself that is a bunch of sort of crushed shells and different shells from different beaches that I've been to in my life because I just feel such an affinity to the ocean and always wanted to live near it. So this has been something I've had for years and years and years since I was a child. And that kind of comes with me everywhere I go. Then in this middle section here, I have 3 carnelian points and 3 amethyst points. You can see I also got this in Charleston, here in Charleston, when I hadn't even moved here yet. So these are just various skulls. So this is actually a rose quartz skull, even though you can't see it so much in this light. This one is kind of like a blue stone, and I'm not exactly sure what this one is. Maybe sodalite, I'm not sure, but they're carved into skulls. Then I have this pretty just clear quartz heart that my friend Jen got me, and some kind of different crystals, like tumbled crystals like black tourmaline and citrine and carnelian and so on. So that's a lapis stone. Then I've got this beautiful fluorite. I think I showed you guys this. I've been having this on my desk downstairs when I've been reading because fluorite can be for inspiration and creativity, and so I've just been like holding this point a lot when I'm reading or having it close to me. Again, my friend Jennifer got me this. You guys will see her on. She's actually been following along with the reading. So thank you, JD. I have a smoky quartz point as well, and some clear quartz, another clear quartz. So a lot of those little things, also a rose quartz star. And then of course there's a mirror in the back. Then I keep all of my, like some of my extra chime candles here. In this next section, I have just the lighter that I use when I'm using my candles. This is some cone incense in lavender scent and some more candles. These 3 little oils here are actually chakra oils. So I've got one for the throat chakra, the crown chakra, and for my solar plexus chakra. So when I'm doing any chakra work, I will use those oils. Then this final section over here has more of my, these are probably more of my favorite crystals that I use more often. So I've got a couple of amethysts, a rose quartz. I've got some citrine pieces over here. These are mostly rough. This is a rough garnet, which is also a good one for creativity. And then I've got a few more here, more rose quartz. I have more of these little jars, and these actually are just from the Dollar Tree. So I got them in a pack, and I've been using them in various ways. I would love to go out and get some of that blackberry vine and some other things and actually fill those up with different herbs, but I just haven't done anything like that yet. So I also have a little tray over here that I use sometimes for the spell candles. And this is actually a really interesting story here. So I don't know if that's focusing, but this is my favorite kind of shell. I absolutely love these beautiful shells. And I was living, before we moved to this house, we were living in a rental house that was just a couple of miles from the beach, like 2 miles from the beach in Folly Beach. And just a fun story is that I had been trying to get pregnant for a couple of years, and I kept saying to myself, okay, I am looking for a sign. The next time I find a whole unbroken shell like this, I'll know that my baby is coming. And for a year, we walked that beach. We found tons of shells. We found sand dollars. We found starfish. We found so many shells, but not one like this. This is like a knobbed whelk shell. And sure enough, I unfortunately had a miscarriage, but since I was told I would not be able to get pregnant at all, I really saw that as a sign of hope that my body knows how to do it. I just have to keep going. And shortly after the miscarriage, about 6 weeks, 8 weeks after my miscarriage, we were walking on the beach and I found this shell and I started crying. And George was like, "Why are you crying?" And I was like, "Because this means that I'm either pregnant now or I will be pregnant soon." And 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant with Evie. So this is my Evie shell. It's just like a little promise from God that my sweet little girl was on her way. And it just means so much. And I don't know how well you can really see the colors, but it has a lot of like pinks and purples in it. And I just knew this is my baby. So sometimes when I'm doing like casting a magical circle, I will use this for the water side of the circle, because I just see that shell as really powerful, because it was a powerful moment in my life. So I keep that there as well. So now let's open this cabinet up and I will show you, because now I'm sitting on my mat, how it is arranged inside. So I took the, obviously the doors, the inside of the doors, and I've started just recently to fill them up with pictures that inspire me. Yes, I also have like a little, 2020 Aquarius thing there and some other little images that are important to me. On this side, I want to do more of like a vision board of my family life and the things that we want to manifest. So I haven't actually put anything on there yet, but it's a work in progress. Then I have 2 shelves in this spell cabinet. So I'm going to go up a little bit closer and show you what's in each one. So here on the top shelf, I have this beautiful, just sort of antique, I don't even know what, it still has a price on it. I don't even know what this is exactly or what it used to be used for, but it has a beautiful little top to it as well. And I found this in an antique shop when I was looking for stuff to fill up with my cabinet. And I thought this would be perfect for keeping the chime candles in, because they're so colorful. So I found that was only $10 and it's really pretty. I also kind of always keep a turtle, because I read once that turtles are for good luck. So I keep a turtle there. This little handmade pottery that I got at the downtown market here in Charleston is just filled with little pieces of clear quartz crystal, because sometimes when I'm doing some of my little noob spell work, I don't know a lot about this kind of thing because I'm a little bit new to it. I will use these clear quartz crystal pieces. So I have a bunch of them there. I have a small mortar and pestle that I got also from Etsy that I love to use if I'm crushing up any kind of little herbs that I want to use, again, when I'm trying to release something or manifest something. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Danielle Laporte, but she has these cards. I have actually a bunch of them down here that are called Truth Bomb cards. And so I do keep this whole box of Truth Bomb cards, and every once in a while I'll pull some out to get a message. So only seek to be more of yourself, and your freedom is good for all of us. So I also have another Buddha that has like a little herb sachet in there that smells really nice and pretty. Some of this stuff is also not as like meaningful, but it's just some candles from Bath and Body Works. This little crystal kind of gem candle, I got this from Target, and I just loved it, and I just had to have it. So that was so cute. I don't ever actually plan on burning that candle, but I just think it's cute. So this little S is from Anthropology. This cup is from Anthropology, and this was a gift from my business mentor, Amber McHugh, and so I keep it in here to remind myself of her energy and how amazing she is. Also, I do have a couple of little spells that I cast on New Year's Eve for 2020 hopes and dreams. There's a few little clear quartz crystals and my hopes put on those little pieces of paper. So I keep that in here. Then this little thing is something I actually got randomly from Cracker Barrel years ago because I thought, I want to be a writer. I'm going to get this little typewriter. So inside, it opens up. It's hard to do one-handed since I'm doing this recording because it's magnetic. But inside, I put these little pyrite pieces, because this is supposed to be a good stone for manifesting. I don't know if that will, yeah, there it goes. So this is supposed to be a good stone for manifesting money. And so I thought, okay, I want to continue my career as a writer. I want to continue making enough money to support my family. So I will put those in this little typewriter as hopefully a way to manifest good energy and money when it comes to my writing career. Then down on this second part, I have a lot of my favorite books and different things that I work in. I also have, this is another thing I got from Bath & Body Works years ago, but it's like a little witch's boot. It's obviously supposed to only be out at Halloween, but I love it, so I keep it out because I love writing about witches and all things witchy, so that stays out. I have an old vision board of mine kind of in the back. Then, like I said, I have a lot of little books and things that I use, and like a little crystal Bible and a little book about Encyclopedia of Crystals, Herbs, and New Age elements and stuff like that. I have A Course in Miracles in here, the 2020 Moon Diary. Whoops. And then I'll show you this in just a second, but this here is obviously my little sage smudge sage bundle that I use anytime I want to like purify stuff, so that's there. Then this little thing in the back, I'm not sure really how well you can see that in this lighting, but I have a little Papa Legba. So this is sort of a voodoo doll, I guess you could say, that my friend KF Breen got me in New Orleans. So Papa Legba is a kind of like a intermediary between the spirit world and our world. And so I have him in here as a way to, you know, really access my intuition. And, you know, I know some people believe that it can be a little bit dangerous to talk to Papa Legba, but I've never really had any concerns about it. I have nothing but good feelings. Then you can see I do actually have a pair of scissors in the back here because I use these all the time. And then I have a little Kali. So I have a mixture of Indian and just all kinds of stuff. So this is like little skulls here, which is for the goddess Kali, if I'm saying that correctly. And this little Saki set here is, again, a very personal thing. So I keep it in my spell cabinet just to remind myself of my own strength. That is the majority of what I have in here. But here's what else I have. Okay, so I ended up pulling this out because it was hard to do it all one-handed. But this is the main things that I use in my nightly evening routine. So I have whatever set of tarot cards I'm currently using at the time, which so far most of this year has been this Golden Tarot, which is basically the original Rider-Waite Tarot. It's very similar. It's most of the same images, just some of them have been tweaked a little bit, but it has all this beautiful gold foiling on it. I love this deck. It's one of my favorite decks I've ever had. I highly recommend the Golden Tarot. It's just gorgeous, and it's just been so accurate and meaningful for me. I just keep coming back to it. So that's the deck I have that I use every night. I have just this little basket that has things that I use all the time. So some Post-it notes, some tape, like not double-sided tape, but just like removable adhesive from Tombow. I have some washi tape cards so that I can decorate my pages without having to pull out a bunch of washi tapes. I have some whiteout tape, and then I have some of my TWSBI pins in here that I use for my journaling. I have a ruler and some other just random pins. So this is the stuff that I use most of the time when I'm doing my journaling. So I keep that in the spell cabinet area with me. Then this, if you saw my 2020 planner lineup, you would be familiar with this, but this is a 5-year journal from Hobonichi. And so every night I come in and I write down a little bit of something about what happened that day. And it's a 5-year journal, so you get this much space for each day of the year for each year. So 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24. So by the time I get to 2024, I will have filled out this entire page for every single day of the year. So when I come and sit down every night, I just fill out a few little things here. Just a little bit about what we did today or how our day went. I haven't yet decided what to do with this extra page on the side. And so far, that means I just haven't done anything with it. I might figure out something later to do with it, maybe in a, you know, maybe next year or something like that. But for now, it's enough to just sit in and write that. So this will be a memory, hopefully my kids can look back on. Then this is my Hobonichi cousin. So I have been using this as my sort of tarot journal. I have this gorgeous Hello Kitty cover that is from, I think, 2017 that I ended up finding on Etsy to purchase. And then I have the 2020 Hobonichi cousin inside. I use this first little section here that has the months to say what tarot deck I'm using and then what card I pulled. And I saw someone on one of my notebook challenge videos say that they actually color in, like when they do pentacles, they give it a certain color, swords a certain color, so that when you look at it, you can see how many like swords you drew or how many wands you drew. So that might be something interesting. I might do that. But for now, this is what I've been doing. Then there are monthly spreads. And so far, you can see I don't do a ton with the monthly spreads. I just write down any type of little, what I would call synchronicity that might have happened. Like seeing a lot of ones or 777, I've seen several times. So I keep just little synchronicities on the monthly spread. I don't worry about making it pretty. And then on the weekly spreads, I write down what card I drew for the day and then what does that mean to me for the day. So I've been keeping up with that pretty well. A few days that I didn't have time to draw a card, but I've been really enjoying keeping up with that in here. And then of course the final thing are the daily pages. So in the daily pages, I would not call it art journaling because I am not very good at art, you know, in any way like my sister is. I have a few pages that I've skipped, so I want to go back and maybe do some watercolor or some quotes on these pages later. But I've just been using different washi tapes and stickers and quotes and things like that to journal every single night. And I'm trying to just do a page, or sometimes if like this one, for example, I did an entire birthday spread for my birthday in January. So that took up like 4 pages. Some of them are not used at all. I had some weeks that were more difficult. But I've just been really enjoying having this space to journal every single night or whenever I feel like it. And I'm not really like giving myself a hard time if I don't fill it out every night. But this is just part of my evening rituals. Is I love to come in, sit down, I will turn on some beautiful music, I will light my candles, and I will just breathe. So I set a timer for 8 minutes and I just do an 8-minute meditation with some nice music. And then I draw a tarot card. I write in my 5-year journal. And then if I have time or feel inspired, I will also decorate and journal or do a tarot spread. So this was the full moon tarot spread from just a few days ago. And I will, you know, spend some time in this journal. And I absolutely love this as my evening routine. And so you can see I have these lights down here right in front of my mat. And this is where I like to draw my tarot cards, and I will lay them down. You know, sometimes I only draw 1, sometimes I'll draw 3, or for a full moon spread, I might draw 12, you know, whatever I decide I want to do. And I will usually put them here in the lights, because usually the lights will be very dim. Maybe my husband's already gone to bed and I'll just be spending this time, you know, by myself with my earbuds in and some happy music. And I've just really been enjoying this little space with the lights here. So I really like it. And I love using this Hobonichi as a tarot journal. So it's been bringing me a lot of joy. And like I said, I also love the fact that when the night is over, I don't have to worry about Evie coming in and, you know, getting into the scissors or anything, at least for now, because I can close that up. Obviously, when she's crawling a little bit more, I'm also going to have to pull these up because that won't be safe, but I figure I can actually just put the lights up on top here. So the final thing that I wanted to show you guys, I know this is getting long, is just this little basket that I have where I keep all of my stickers. So inside this little Make Your Dreams Happen pouch, I have some washi tapes. I also have the regular Hobonichi. So this is just the little Hobonichi, and I'm actually not going to show you these pages in here because these are a little bit more personal, but I can show you kind of what the pages look like. So this is a smaller version and it has daily pages like this. And what I like to do with these pages is, this is part of my morning routine, is I write affirmations, or I write through any kind of trauma that I've been through or working through. So it's not exactly morning pages, but it's kind of similar to morning pages if you're familiar with that from The Artist's Way. But I would need more space to do real morning pages, but it's just like, what is my focus for the day? Sometimes I draw a tarot card in this as well. Then I also have all of my other most used tarot cards are in here. So I'm going to show you guys what those decks are. And then I just have a bunch of different stickers that I use in that journaling that I do. And then I have my moon diary from 2019 that I sometimes will tear pages out of to use for decoration. And then I have this Toki Doki origami sheets that you might have seen I do use in my journaling as well. So let's take a look at the tarot cards real quick. Okay, so obviously I don't have time to go through and show you a detailed look at all of these tarot cards. If you want to see a more like flip through of my favorite decks, then I can do that in a different video. But like I said, I have that Rider-Waite, or not Rider-Waite, but it's kind of based on the Rider-Waite very closely, is the Golden Tarot, and that's the one that I've been using the most. And then here are my other decks that I have that I use a lot. I do have some other decks that are in storage, as well as I have some Oracle decks and some Angel cards, and I haven't been using those as much lately since we moved into this house, so those are also put away in storage for now. But I'll just briefly go over the ones that I have here. So this set right here is probably my second favorite deck that I've probably used more than others. And you can just get a sense for the fact that these are all like black and white. This is called the Hermetic Tarot, and it's much more like symbols and just all black and white, and I've really connected with this particular tarot deck. So I have the Hermetic Tarot. And again, I apologize for the videoing here because I know that I am trying to do this one-handed. This deck is just the original Rider-Waite tarot deck. So this is just the OG basic, like traditional set of cards that you would find. So I've got that original set. This is the Everyday Witch Tarot, and I also really love this one. I used this deck a lot last year, so you can see it's got a lot of witchy images to it. And like I said, I can't go through them all, but if you guys want to see these in more in depth, I can show them to you. But it's like this with the cat and the witch hat and the broom, and then they're all witches in the cards. So I love those. This is the Everyday Witch Tarot, and most of these you can get at like Barnes & Noble or you know, any type of local metaphysical or crystal shop usually will carry tarot cards. There are lots of decks even on like GoFundMe's or on Amazon. This one, I really was trying to remember. I think this one might be called just the Mythic Tarot, but it's based on like Greek mythology, I think. And I don't ever use this deck, and I probably will be passing this one on, but it's based very much in mythology, and I've just never fully connected with this deck. So I probably will move that one on, but I can't remember if it's called the Mythic Tarot or something like that. Then this one is the Mythical Goddess Tarot. So this one is all based on goddesses. So it's a little bit different because it has like earth instead of pentacles. And the main arcana, the major arcana are different goddesses. So 20, instead of it being the world, is Aditi or the Great Void, and so on. So like 15 is Mary Magdalene. So a little bit different, and I used this one a lot too. I love this deck. This is a somewhat new one to me. It's a smaller deck. You can see it's really tiny, and it's called the Kawaii Tarot, and it is so stinking cute. These are super, super simple cards, but they're really, really cute, and I like them a lot. So you can see like wands are like little lollipops and stuff like that. Very, very cute cards. Then this is my newest deck, and it's called the Wild Unknown Tarot. These cards are really stunning, and I just love them. The Empress is my lifetime card for my birthday, so I love that when that card appears. But these cards are just really stunning and beautiful, and they're mostly like line drawings, but they're really pretty. Then the final deck here is called the Shadowscapes Tarot, and these again are kind of fantasy based cards. That's upside down. But they're very, very pretty drawings as well. This set of cards I have not used as much either because I found them a little bit difficult to shuffle. I think it's just the weight of the cards, like the cardstock they are printed on. I just didn't find them easy to shuffle, but they are really, really beautiful imagery on these cards. Like, look at that. Isn't that nice? So I might get into trying that one again because it's been a while since I've used it. But those are my main decks that I use. And like I said, if I had to choose my 3 favorites, it's going to be that Golden Tarot, the Everyday Witch Tarot, and the Hermetic Tarot are my favorites. This Wild Unknown is kind of growing on me too. So that's an example of some of my favorite tarot cards. And one last look here at my spell cabinet. Okay guys, so a really long video to show you all of this stuff, but I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. It's definitely an inside look at myself, and like I mentioned in one of the earlier videos for the Witch's Key, I was never really ashamed of how much I loved witchy things and wanted to be witchy. It was just that growing up in a small town in Georgia, a lot of people were like, it's the devil, you know, and very judgmental about it. And it hasn't been until I've really gotten older and started to embrace it that it's really not an either or thing for me. It's not like you have to be Christian or you have to be a witch. It's just, you know, all of this for me is very spiritual and it all goes together. And I do have a belief and love for Jesus, but also a love for, you know, Buddha and crystals. And I believe in that type of energy for the universe. So hopefully no judgment from any of you, but it's hard to explain that spiritual path that you can love so many different things. And I see it all as one, and I don't see any of it as being, I see it as being inclusive rather than exclusive. And that's just sort of my personal beliefs. So I love writing about witches. I love thinking about fantasy worlds, and some of that, you know, obviously all of that to me is made up with some of the types of magic that Lenny does and the demons and vampires. It's fantasy, it's not real, but there are aspects of those types of things that are real in my spiritual practice, like manifestation, and I believe in the power of crystals and really the power of your own belief and the magic inside of all of us. And I know that sounds cheesy, but it's just something that I truly believe. So I hope you enjoyed this peek into my life, my beliefs, but also my meditation practice and a part of my spiritual practice that really brings me joy and happiness in my life and is a place of peace and just calm and a way for me to really go deep into my own thoughts and dreams and really work through some of that stuff. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I am excited to get started back with the Witch's Key with you guys on Monday. If you are new to this channel and you haven't yet checked it out, I am an author and I have been reading an original story called The Witch's Key, which has a witch in it that has a spell cabinet that is not at all like this, but has some similarities with the Cauldron and things like that. So I hope that you will check that out. I will leave a link in the description box below where you can check that out, but I have been going live every single day at 4 p.m. to read a new episode of this original story, and just we're having the best time. So thank you to everyone who's been supporting that. If you're new here, please please subscribe and join us. You can catch up on the episodes by either going back through and listening to all of them, or you can actually read them for free on my blog or over on Wattpad, and catch up and join us for the last week or so of this original story, and let's keep it going. All right, guys, I love you. Happy Easter to those of you who celebrate, and I will see you tomorrow for episode 13. Goodbye.